There is a woman the FBI calls one of the most wanted fugitives on the planet. She has not been seen in public since 2017. She built a financial empire that stretched across every continent, pulled in billions of dollars from ordinary people desperate for a better life, and then she vanished. Her name is Ruja Ignatova. And what she built was not a cryptocurrency, it was a lie. This is the story of OneCoin, the largest cryptocurrency fraud in history, a $25 billion scam disguised as the next Bitcoin, built on manipulation, greed, and the systematic exploitation of people who simply wanted to believe. To understand OneCoin, you have to understand the moment it was born. It was 2014. Bitcoin was making headlines. Ordinary people who had bought in early were becoming millionaires. Financial newspapers were full of stories about blockchain technology and the coming disruption of global banking. The world was ready to believe that crypto could change everything. Ruja Ignatova understood this better than almost anyone. She had a PhD from the University of Konstanz in Germany. She dressed impeccably. She spoke with the authority of a banker and the charisma of a preacher. And in June 2014, she launched OneCoin, presenting it to the world as the cryptocurrency that would surpass Bitcoin. She called herself the Crypto Queen. OneCoin was sold through a multi-level marketing structure. You didn't buy coins directly. You bought educational packages, PDFs about finance and trading, and with each package came a certain number of OneCoin tokens. The more expensive the package, the more tokens you received. Packages ranged from a few €100 to tens of thousands. And crucially, you earned commissions by recruiting others into the network. The pitch was perfect for people who felt locked out of traditional financial systems. In Nigeria, Uganda, India, China, Pakistan, places where access to stable banking was limited and the promise of financial empowerment felt transformative, OneCoin spread like wildfire. Ignatova held massive events in sports arenas. She walked on stage to standing ovations. She told crowds that they were not just investing, they were part of a revolution. But OneCoin was not a cryptocurrency in any meaningful sense. Real cryptocurrencies operate on public blockchains, decentralized ledgers that anyone can verify. Bitcoin's blockchain is open. Every transaction is visible to anyone with an internet connection. That transparency is the entire point. OneCoin had no public blockchain. The company claimed to have one, but it was entirely internal, a private database that only OneCoin could access or audit. When members tried to verify their coin balances on an external blockchain explorer, nothing came up, because there was nothing to find. Internally, OneCoin's own IT team knew the truth. Documents later uncovered by investigators showed that when Ignatova decided the exchange rate of OneCoins should be higher, she simply ordered the number to be changed. The mining of coins was faked. The value was invented. The entire blockchain was a fiction maintained by a handful of employees who were essentially just updating a spreadsheet. The exchange, the platform that would supposedly allow members to sell their coins, was permanently under maintenance or restricted in ways that made it nearly impossible to actually cash out. Members were told this was temporary. It never became permanent, because cashing out was never supposed to be possible at scale. Meanwhile, the money flowing in, from package sales, from seminars, from new recruits across 175 countries, was real. And it was flowing directly into accounts controlled by Ignatova and her inner circle. By the time investigators began to piece together what was happening, the damage was staggering. An estimated 3 million people in at least 175 countries had invested in OneCoin. The total amount taken in is estimated at approximately $25 billion, making it the single largest cryptocurrency fraud ever recorded, and one of the largest financial frauds in human history. The victims were not wealthy speculators. In Uganda, people sold farmland. In China, retirees liquidated their life savings. In rural India, families pooled money from weddings and funerals. In the United Kingdom, people remortgaged their homes. These were not people who could absorb the loss. For many, OneCoin represented everything they had. Sebastian Greenwood, OneCoin's co-founder, was arrested in Thailand in 2018. He later pleaded guilty to wire fraud and money laundering in the United States. Konstantin Ignatov, Ruja's brother who took over operations after her disappearance, was arrested at Los Angeles International Airport in 2019. He also pleaded guilty. But Ruja Ignatova herself has never been caught. In October 2017, Ignatova boarded a Ryanair flight from Sofia, Bulgaria to Athens, Greece. She was never seen again. What followed was one of the most dramatic manhunts in financial crime history. The FBI added her to their most wanted list. Europol issued alerts across Europe. German prosecutors filed charges. In May 2023, the U.S. Department of Justice added Ignatova to the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives, a list that has historically included terrorists and murderers. Investigators believe she may have undergone plastic surgery to alter her appearance. There are theories she fled to Dubai, to Russia, to South America. A BBC podcast titled The Missing Crypto Queen brought her story to a global audience and generated thousands of tips. None have led to her capture. A $100,000 reward is offered for information leading to her arrest. She remains at large. OneCoin's rise and collapse reveals something uncomfortable. The same forces that make people vulnerable to financial fraud, hope, community, the fear of being left behind, are the same forces that make us human. The people who joined OneCoin were not stupid. Many were educated, motivated, and community-minded. They trusted the people who recruited them. They watched videos, attended seminars, read the educational materials. They did what we're supposed to do. They sought information. But the information itself was fraudulent, and the social proof around them, friends, family, respected members of their community, was built on the same lie. What regulators, journalists, and investigators consistently flag about OneCoin, and what makes it a landmark case in financial crime, is that it exposed deep gaps in cross-border enforcement. No single country could shut it down quickly because it operated everywhere. By the time one jurisdiction moved, the money had already moved. For anyone who encounters an investment that promises guaranteed high returns, pays commissions for recruitment, cannot clearly explain how its blockchain works, or restricts your ability to withdraw funds, the lesson of OneCoin is simple and brutal. If you cannot independently verify that your investment exists, it may not. Ruja Ignatova built a mountain of false hope and disappeared before it collapsed. The mountain fell on 3 million people. She is still out there. And somewhere, $25 billion in stolen trust is still unaccounted for.